1, 2. Okay. Here we go. I hate this bit at the beginning where I can't tell if everything's working properly or not. Is anyone here? No. No one's here. Is anyone here? Hello, chat? Anyone? Hello? No? Okay, I will just twiddle my thumbs. See if anyone shows up. Excellent connection, according to YouTube. Hello, is there anyone there? Okay, this could be a short stream. Hello, is there anyone there? Can you hear me? Okay, cool. Hi, Combat. Excellent. Okay, just so as long as I know the sound and everything is working, that's the thing. I hate the bit at the beginning where I can't tell if it's working or not. I don't trust the VUs. Okay, I might wait for a minute or two, see if anyone else shows up before I start babbling on about stuff. Hey, Crizit. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. How are you doing? Nice to see you. I'm just going to wait for a minute or two and see if anyone else shows up before I start doing stuff. How is life treating you? I hope you're doing very well. Did you watch the new Mandalorian yesterday? Everyone was quite excited about that. I thought it was a bit meh, to be honest. Wasn't the blockbuster first episode I thought we might get. There we go. So before I start doing music stuff, has anyone got any forced questions they would like me to have a crack at answering? So what I'm going to do is I've basically selected a bunch of samples, or 4 or 5 samples, and I was going to start kind of working on them to start the beginnings of creating a beat or something or other. And I was hoping to get sort of input from chat, really, sort of giving ideas about what to do or telling me what to do. So that was the sort of thing I was thinking about doing today. So I've got some samples here. And I will remember this time to flip the picture in picture so you can see what the Force is doing as opposed to staring at my ugly face for the whole thing. Okie doke. Well, I'm just going to crack on, I think. So I found 4 or 5 melodic samples. There we go. I've lowered the exposure on the top camera quite a bit, so it looks a bit dark, but hopefully it means you'll be able to read the screen a bit easier. So I've got 4 or 5 melodic samples here. Hey, PM MIDI, PD MIDI, how you doing? And they're all in E minor, but they're all different tempos. So I thought it would be quite interesting to see if we can combine them, because they're sort of similar. They have a similar kind of sound, but they're quite different texturally, to see if we can do something with some of these. So if, while I'm doing this, if you have any ideas about a good idea to do something with one of these samples, or tell me what to do, just put it in the chat and I'll do what you tell me to do, and we'll see if we can kind of shape something together. But these are the samples I've picked out to work with. So this is the first one. Just repeat, so we won't use all of that. Then there's this one. Some nice swells. It's all in E minor. And then this one, which is a sample from Electron Analog 4. Nice little harp. And some kind of stabs again from an Electron Analog 4, I think this is. Some plucks. And then this sort of reverse piano sample, which I thought might be quite nice to use as a texture somewhere or other. I don't quite know what or how yet, but we'll get there. So I was thinking of starting with this one. So I think what I'm going to do is crop it right down, and then see if we can chop up some of those individual hits and do something interesting with them rhythmically, to start the sort of beginnings of a groove, or beginnings of like a bed that we can build some other stuff around. So the first thing I'm going to do is just trim this down a little bit, because this just repeats, we don't need all of it. So I'm going to bring, this could be quite a rough chop, because we're not going to use all of it. So I'm just going to, in fact I might actually extract it ARP 1, just in case we want to go back to that sample and use it again some other way. So let's do that. So now we've got ARP 1. So this is what this sounds like. So what I'm thinking is to chop out some of the individual hits there, and then put them on drum pads and do something with them to make so we're using them, but it sounds different. I have the idea of pitching it down quite a bit and possibly reversing some of them as well. So I'm going to chop this, and I'm going to see what happens, what kind of result we get when we use threshold. We've got some pops and clicks there, but we can get rid of those with envelopes, no problem. Let's try making it a bit more sensitive. That's too much. See what? That sort of thing there, where the chop lands in between two hits, can be quite interesting, I think, rhythmically. Yeah, let's turn that into a kit. So I'm going to hit, for anyone that's new to the Force, I'm going to hit Shift and Convert, and I'm going to turn this into a track, new drum program, and I'm going to use pad parameters. So now if we come out of here, we've got all of our slices on pads. So I'm going to go into the track edit. So this is the track, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to see what it sounds like when we pitch this down a full octave. Yeah, I quite like that. Let's go back to as it was. And I think let us do all of the envelopes at once. How do we do all of the envelopes at once? Is that possible? Probably isn't, is it? Yeah, I'm going to go back to that octave down and see what it sounds like when we arp it. Obviously don't want 16th notes. Something like that, I quite like that. I think we might be a bit too fast, so let's change our tempo down a touch. Let's go to the traditional 120. What do we think? Do we like the sound of that? Is there something there? To be sort of a low bed or beginnings of a groove. Let's try ARP mode to random, see what happens. And let's put the velocity as full for now. Yeah, quite like that. Let's create a clip and record that in. Edit clip, let's make it 4 bars, it already is. Metronome. Actually, what's our... We're on mono, that's what we want. This... This ARP seems to be behaving in a weird way. Let's bring that down a little bit. Like it's not triggering properly. So why is it doing that? Let's try note repeat. That's bad. There we go. Okay, let's just record something and see what comes out. Okay. I can kind of see something there. Let's put some panning on some of these so they move around a bit. Bit too much. So I think we want to shorten those notes a little bit, so adjust the release of them a little bit perhaps. I might put a couple of accents on there at a higher arp rate or a note repeat rate. Yeah, like something like that. Yep, like that. Getting a little bit nice and glitchy now. Something weird going on one of those notes. Yeah, it's that one. So let's... What's that clip look like? So at some point I can imagine going into this clip and putting some probability on some of these notes to give it a little bit more glitch. But I would normally wait till I've got some other elements in to sort of know where I want that or that sort of what's the word I'm looking for, variation or variability to go. So I'm just going to save that. It wants another 16th note at the beginning. Yeah, I like that as a start. I think I'm going to take a little bit of the low end out of it, so I'm going to go into the effects and stick an EQ on that, just so that we're not filling up the whole bottom end of the frequency spectrum. No, not the killer. I want the parametric EQ. Let's go. Yeah, that sounds about right. So what I'm going to do now is I'll let that play for a round, and I'm going to look at some of the other samples that I got and just see if we can hear anything that sort of sounds like it wants to go along with that, because that's quite glitchy and sort of moving around a lot. I think we want something sort of almost solid to underpin that as well. So I've got these other samples here. So not that one. What do we think? Yeah, that might work. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to chop. So this is what this sounds like. So I'm going to chop out a section of that and then chop that section up, because it just repeats, so we can get rid of some of that. Go back into trim. Ooh, I hate it when it does that. When I do that, I should say. I don't know why I'm bothering to get a perfect loop. I don't really need it. Okay. Gonna chop out that sample. The reason I'm going to chop it out as opposed to just truncating it is in case I want to go back to it and use it again. So we're going to call that ARP2, which is here. So I'm going to chop this up as well. I might do this in regions. might pitch this up. Let's put that on its own track, convert, new drum program pad parameters, which is what we want. Oh, turn the arp off. So let's see what this sounds like when we pitch it up 12, like a full octave. No. Like that. I like that hang on the second note. We're going to have to do something to the EQ on that to bring it out a little bit, but let's record that in. Is this 4 bars? Yes, it is. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to try and see if we can do something to this EQ wise to make it pop out a little bit more. So I'm going to stick an EQ on there. I'm going to go back to the original track and take out some more of that low end. What do you think? Anyone think that? I quite like that. And I'm going to stick a compressor on this second bit to again bring it out a little bit more. Got some clicks we need to get rid of. So let's get rid of those clicks with some release. I think it needs some distortion. Not that. Yeah, quite like that. So we've got something quite sort of complex going on there, I think. Any suggestions, anyone? It's about time for a kick drum, I think, isn't it? Because we can sidechain that so that this part here, because it's quite constant, we can sidechain kick drum on that. It will duck it in and out, which will probably sound quite nice. Save. Okay, new track, drum track, and let's find a kick drum or a kit or a kick drum. So I'm going to go to my hard drive and machine expansions. Sasha, that might have something in it. I've just blown your ears off. See what that sounds like. No, no, don't like that. No. Some of these kits are filthy. Oh God, sorry about that. That works as a kick drum. Might not use the rest of the kit, but let's stick that kick in. Can you hear me all right? Is everything? Ooh. Sorry, I'm just turning my headphones up a bit. Okay, so I'm going to put Mother Ducker on this now to use the kick drum to duck that kind of first sort of droney thing. I'm just going to bring the level down on that a little bit. So effects, actually I normally put Mother Ducker on at the end. That's in dynamics, isn't it? Mother Ducker input, and then go back to the mixer, and on our first thing put Mother Ducker receiver. So let's mute out. So we can tweak our Mother Ducker settings now, so we get that. Yeah, quite like that. Just going to check my levels. I'm worried about blowing people's ears up. That was fun. Quite like that. Something going on. I think I'm going to just see if we can shape this kick drum a little bit. Tighten it up a bit. Tiny bit of. Then go to the drum effects. See if we can put some distortion. There we go. Quite like that sucking kind of feel. Gonna save that. So let's just see. Copy and do this. Launch quantize, just see how they all come together. Yeah, quite like that. People still here, still watching. I think bass is probably the next thing that this needs, isn't it? See if we can find a nice subby sort of bass. Plug in, edit. So I'm going to load up Hype and see if we can find a nice sub that's going to work with this. Set our key to E minor. Thanks, PD MIDI. I'm just still here. Turn it down a bit. Day Sweet, hey bro, just wanted to let you know that your streaming audio levels are pretty low relative to other channels on YouTube. Thank you, that's very kind. I'm not gonna, it's good to know, I'm not gonna try and fix that now in case people are listening and I suddenly blow their eardrums out. Okay, G Brown, can I turn the volume up a bit on the force? Yes, I can do that. Tell me how this is. Is that better? Let me know if that's better. How's that? So paranoid about being too loud and cool. Right, where was I? No, not that. Cheesy. Let's put a little bit of release on this. Something like that. It's a bit cheesy, but we can change it. Just get something down so we can start sort of knowing what the groove is. last note onto the grid. I think I'm going to dirty that up a little bit. So let's go to mixer and stick something dirty on it. Harmonic. Flavor Pro. Nah. I'm not as wild about flavour as some people are. Soft clipping. Yeah. Yeah, quite like that. High bass record. Yeah, hype is great. Odyssey confuses me. I find, because I never use one in real life, I find the UI or the interface a little bit confusing on it sometimes. When I turn the metronome off, it made me realise that we need some hats or something in this, don't we? I don't like any of this stuff. So, because this is turning, it's kind of quite electronic sounding, I might see if I can find a top loop, like an acoustic top loop that will work over the top of this. I quite like that though. So I'm going to go into my splice folder and I'm going to search for top and just see if anything comes up. So we want something quite bright and rhythmic, but quite dirty sounding as well, I think. Just the one, come on, there we go. It's pretty, isn't it? Let's load that in. So what are we at? We're at 120 BPM. And this is at 100 and... Oh yes, that's fine. Ooh, way too loud. Let's just take some of the volume out of that. Needs something doing to it, doesn't it? So I'm going to call that, in fact, it's already called, so mainline top. So I'm going to put that on one of my, that's weird. I've never seen it do that before. So I'm going to put that sample on one of these pads. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff because I'm not using it. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to go to track edit, samples, memory, and it was this top. Where's it gone? There it is. Why is that not lit up? Forte's got some little glitches at the moment, isn't it? That pad hasn't lit up for some reason. I wonder if I change. I wonder why it's done that. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is we don't need it to be that long. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to go into the mixer and stick a filter on this. So effects, and I'm going to put a high pass filter on it. Where are we? Filter. Oops. No. Where are we? High pass. Okay, so what it sounds like. Obviously need to bring the gain up. Yeah, sounds pretty good. I'll sort the levels out in a sec. So that's this one. I wonder why that pad hasn't lit up. That's weird. I'm going to stick a compressor on that to make it a bit louder. Bass record, if you hold edit and press the sample you want to put an effect on, hold edit and click the button. If you hold edit and press the sample you want to put effects on, edit, press, yep, then click the button the sample is on. Do you mean the drum effects? Then you will get some tabs on. Yeah, yeah, this one here, you mean the drum effects. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I could have done that instead of doing it through the mixer. I don't think to do that sometimes. I don't know why. But as I've started that way, I'm just going to tweak this filter cutoff. Quite like that. What do we think? So that's quite static, so I might put an auto pan on that top line to get it moving around a little bit in the stereo image, see what that sounds like. What's that? That's modulation, isn't it? Auto pan. Just dial it back a little bit. Yeah. Quite like that. So I think let's just see what it sounds like if we start off with that. So let's select this clip. So I want to see what those two things sound like together with the hi-hats in. So let's get rid of that. Yeah, I quite like that. It gives it a bit of context rhythmically. Where's that come from? There's some weird stuff going on with this device at the moment. Need a bit more kick, I think. Yeah, quite like that. What do we think now? There needs to be something melodic going on there, doesn't there? So I'm going to have a look at those other sort of E minor samples I've got and see if there's anything in there we think we might be able to do something with. So there was this one. Oh, I forgot. I've got these. There's on Splice a while ago. They did. I don't use Splice anymore, but when you were a member, every now and again they did a free. So they just give you a free pack for, you know, to say thank you for joining their rubbish service. And one of the packs was a thing called the American West, and it's a load of samples that were recorded at Yellowstone Park, and there's some really interesting rhythmic stuff in there. So these are these here. It's not Yellowstone, sorry, Yosemite. So this is like someone cooking on a campfire. This is pretty standard, someone walking along. But I thought that sort of sound, we might be able to do something quite interesting with that. The arrow. The arrow? What's that mean? Sorry. The arrow. So I'm going to chop that just by threshold. I always go the wrong way. I'm going to get rid of that one, that one. You can tighten these up when we've got them on pads. So I'm going to turn that into a kit. Oh, the ARP, yeah. ARP, definitely ARP, coming. So. So what I want to do is bring out that but not have the other bits on it. So I'm going to go into the sample edit. This is why I use pad parameters, by the way, because if you use pad parameters, you can independently move the start and end points on samples, whereas if you use slices, the end point of one slice becomes the start point of the next, so you don't get quite as much flexibility. So it's this. So let's shorten that a bit. That's the sort of thing I was thinking. So let's record that in and then do something with it to make it sound like sort of fit into the mix a bit better. Where's your elocution, Andy? Oop, wrong one. Where are we? Note. So I want to thin that out a little bit, so I'm going to put some EQ on it so we're only getting the top end of it, and it needs some reverb as well, I think. So I'm going to go to EQ filter, parametric EQ. And I think I might put an amp envelope on this as well, so that it sort of builds a little bit. Envelopes. So as much envelopes as we can get. Let's see what it sounds like with some reverb on it. Too much reverb. I think that sounds a bit too long. So let's go into the sample and just yeah. going to get rid of some of that reverb. Quite like that. So who said ARP? We need an ARP. Actually, I might just, before we do the ARP, go to our they do the same thing. They might sound quite nice. Palos, the web name. Hi all, haven't touched my force since months. Anything good happening? Been a few firmware updates recently. Paul has 3.2.3. I think we're on now. Apparently, it's fixed all the audio interface issues. And interestingly, you know the Roland's Performer Mixer MX1, I think it's called. Apparently, that now works with the Force as an interface. It never used to before, which throws up the possibility that some of Roland's devices, things like the MC707 and 701 that have multi-channel audio, might work with the Force as well. So we're hoping someone's going to test that, because if you could have an MC707 with the Force with all 8 synth tracks coming into separate tracks on the Force via USB, that would be amazing. Anyway, I'm going to chop this up and use these, I think, as alternating snares. So clear all. Why is it? Let's get rid of that. Yep. Convert pad parameters. Need to tighten those up a little bit, but I think there's something there. I like this one. So I'm going to tighten up. Pitch it up a bit. Yeah, I like that. Obviously that's way too loud, but I'm just going to chuck it in there. This up. What I'm trying to do is just get a bit of a crunchy texture in the background. reverb was. What do we think? Do we like that? I quite like that. Let's just run through it. Okay, ARP time. What sort of ARP are we thinking? Let's create a synth track. Plug in. Where do I normally go for ARPs? Plucks. I think we're on, so let's set that back to as played and put it on ARP, not note repeat. We want a slightly shorter sound. Bit of a cheesy sound, that. Nope. Not bad. So I'll record that in, and while it's running I'll tweak the sound a little bit to get it sounding like it fits a bit better. Where are we? 4 bars, yep, that's what we want. Actually, I might make that 8 bars. More room to breathe. So I'm going to squash that a bit with the compressor, so it's not, the dynamics aren't quite as pronounced. I know I could do that in the hype, I just don't like using the hype stuff. No, I didn't want that. Think what you're doing, Andy. Dynamics, compressor. For this I find the instrument, come on, flatten. Preset works quite well. Turn the ratio up a bit. What do you think? think that's a bit too wet, too much reverb on it. So let's dry it out a little bit. So go to the reverb and delay. Just calm it down a bit. I think drying it up like that makes it sound like it belongs with the other instruments a little bit better. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to put some quite crazy auto pan on that, I think. So let's put auto pan. Should we try the sync modulation? Auto, or we could try stereo width. See what that sounds like. Good. No, I think I'd rather have it moving as opposed to sitting on the sides like that. So let's go to auto pan sync. Yeah. Thanks, Purple Spider. I've turned it up twice now. Okay. Is that better? I hope that's a bit better. It's weird because I'm streaming this through a Roland streaming box thing, and on the control panel for that I'm looking at, I'm just peaking, just the peaks are just slightly below the red, so everything to me looks like I'm spot on. So I'm sorry if it's low. When this is finished, I'll go back and listen to this, watch the stream. Okay, thanks, Purple. Sorry about that. It's really difficult because basically I'm using cameras. So I've got two cameras, one on me, one looking down, obviously, and the latency between the video basically takes a long time to get to the streaming box compared to the audio from the Force. So I have to put quite a lot of delay on the audio using like a compensation thing in the streaming box. So consequently, I can't listen to what I'm sending you because there's too much delay between the audio and what my hands are doing. It's impossible to play like that. So I'm having to listen to a separate thing. So I'm not listening to what I'm sending you, which gives me anxiety at the best of times. Well, apologies if it's too quiet. I'll make sure it's fixed for next time. So anyway, let's save that quickly and just run through. So I don't think we want all of this coming in at the same time, so I'm going to copy this scene and I'm going to get rid of the ARP and just run through and see what this sounds like. Need some more kick. What do you think? Oh, thanks, Purple. Cheers. You're at least minus 12 dB, really? Okay, thanks. I'll have to look into that. That's weird. Like, if I was to show you, I can't be bothered to change the scene on OBS, but I'm literally right. It's sort of yellow into red on the streaming software, on the streaming box control panel. I'll have to think of a better way of doing that. But thank you, though. Keep trying. I'm not sure if I like that ARP line. a bit twee, I think. Let's see if we can. What does it sound like if we put yeah, that's better. Yeah, we'll stick some probability on it. Let's do that. Clip, go. So if we go to list mode, I've got to remember how I do this now. So it's shift, isn't it? Shift, where are we? Probability, shift. No, not that one. There we go. And bring it down to 75. See what that does? Bit less. Let's try a bit less. It's quite busy, so we might be able to go down as low as 50%. See what happens. Yeah. Still sounds a bit wet to me. Yeah, I like that, that's better. What about a pad as well? If in doubt, stick a pad on it. And we can sidechain that with the same kick drum that we're using on that kind of glitchy bit at the start. So let's find a nice, just a really simple, I think I know the one I want actually. It's like a Rolandy sort of Juno-y sound pad that's in here. I think it's under warm. Is it Spaceflight? No. I think it's this one. Let's try it, see what it sounds like with the side chain on it. Dynamics in it. Got some quite nice rhythms going on there. Let's run through it and see what it sounds like. No, don't like that. Let's select both of these and bring them down an octave. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Better. Yeah, not too bad. No, don't like that pad. That was a mistake. What I would normally do now is default to my usual position of sticking some chopped up female vocals over it. So let's see if we can find something. Splice. What are we doing? Vocals by instrument. Vocals. Okay, let's have a play with one of those vocals and see if we can do something interesting with it. Wherever they've gone. Kitty, there we go. Oh Christ, sorry, that's too loud. Not that one. Let's chop that up. Something there. So let's make this mono. something there. Fill that up a bit. Yeah, I quite like that. What do we think? I quite like that. Again, it needs to move around a little bit, so I'm going to stick the, actually what I think what I'm going to do is do it manually. Note. More reverb. Yeah, I quite like that. I'm going to put that compressor on it to squash it a little bit. Yeah, quite like that. So, right, we're going for an hour and 20 minutes, and we've gone from a couple of Electron Analog 4 arpeggiated samples that we chopped up, added some samples for texture from a Yosemite National Park sample pack, crunchy leaves and someone scraping a knife on a pan. We've got a kick drum from the Sasha Native Instruments expansion and a couple of hype presets, and this is basically what we've ended up with some sort of chopping and mangling. Missed it. Definitely need some more kick, don't we? It's quite a nice groove, that. I like that better without the arp. Yeah, sounds alright, doesn't it? Not bad for an hour and 20 minutes, I suppose. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up there and have a beer, basically. Before I go, thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate you sticking around and watching me do this. Were there any forced questions that people wanted answering before I go? I promise I'll sort the audio out for the next time. People keep telling me it's too quiet. I will fix that. See, I'm looking at my VUs and they're all really where they should be. Don't know what's going on there. But yeah, quite like that. The chord sound, you mean that one? Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not keen on it either. I think what I'm going to do is I'll save this, and I'm going to next time I stream, we'll develop it further, so we can change it then. And I'll also we'll start working on how to perform it. What kind of beer? Heineken, very, very boring Heineken I've got in the fridge. I've got the corner shop near my house, doesn't sell anything interesting. So at the weekend I will go and get some proper beer somewhere. But yeah, so I think what I'll do is keep that, and we can develop it in the next live stream, and then start turning it into arrangement, and then we'll look at things like applying macros for performance and all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep developing this particular project until it turns into like a full track that can then be performed, and then we could do a recording of it or something like that. And what I'll do is, once it's finished, I'll make the project file available to anyone that comes to the streams, so you can download it and have a play with it if you want to. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'm going to call it there. Have a lovely evening or a day wherever you are. Paul is at the web though. I'm a Pilsner fan myself, or a IPA. I prefer. Quite like. I've forgotten the name of it now. The Camden IPA is particularly nice, I think. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to call it. Thanks very much. Have a lovely day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for coming. Cheers. Bye. Oh, hey, Nico, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Hope you're having a good one, mate. Thanks a lot, Jay. Lovely to see it. Love to see you. Hope you're having a good day too. I'm going to take off. Thanks. Cheers. See you next time. Bye.